Hello, everybody.
The free man. Welcome everybody. Hello, hello. Cotton here, Klops there. It's uh it's a fire drill night. I didn't know that we'd be casting a match tonight, but when one of this magnitude pops up, I guess I just like a moth to flame feel that I have to be here. Is that does that does that ring true for you?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
You were like, yeah, it's last minute, so you don't have to do it if you don't know. I was like, what are you talking about? I
Well,
don't want to do it.
it's it was unexpected. It was scheduled for Thursday, but of course there are some match overlaps on Thursday, and I can foresee in the future that some matches might be played on a Tuesday like this. It's the team formerly known as Denial versus the team currently still known as Exertus. Now, Exertus is a newly promoted invite team in ESEA, has also joined CEVO, and has at least once thrown down the gauntlet against Complexity in invite. I don't know where to power rank these guys, Clay, because I haven't seen them play since that date, and prior to that date, I didn't make the connection with Exertus as elite. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we saw them before they played Complexity, and they look like they were still. They look like they were honestly going to be struggling a little bit in invite, and I mean, it seems like they've been practicing a lot in the off season, and they're here to show that they got what it takes. And like, first match out of the gate, they take out Complexity. So I mean, that's
That's a
a big good start right there.
that's a statement win.
It
That's of
is.
all statement wins you could have in North American Counter Strike. That's the one you want to have on your resume. Like, I did this. It was a thriller. It was 16-14, and we stuck it to them. And it's a little bit different than a blowout because then people start asking questions: who wasn't there? Was somebody cheating? But if you go toe to toe with the number one power rank team in all of ESEA, then people take a second look at that for the right reasons. And I think if they stay to form, tonight's match should be very, very good.
Exactly, and if they can pull out this win here, I mean that's going to say a lot for these guys, taking out probably the top two American teams. Yeah, that's going to be really good for them, and it's going to show that they are here to play and they're going to be a force in the American scene and probably
Absolutely.
international.
Hopefully, I don't know that Exertus will be budgeting themselves as an international team just yet. We could be mistaken, but I have not got the impression that Exertus feels that sort of budget. But I would love if they did, and I think if they took that next step, people would be there to fund them because that team has been together for a while now, and teams with stability always attract the right sort of attention. I like that. I hope that for them. I see a question in the audience right now saying, "Play CEVO?" Question mark. Is CEVO a new game? Play? I'm going to let you field this one.
Wow.
Where to
Okay.
begin? Where to begin?
Yeah.
Let me help you.
Please.
CEVO is not a game.
I know. Well, I know that, but it was just wasn't sure where to go with how that naming convention came to be.
Well, a lot of new players, a lot of new people in Counter Strike don't really understand that there's an extensive history in of Counter Strike leagues, and it dates back way back, right? It goes back to small tournaments,
Back when
but
Cal was still around.
it goes back before Cal, and
Hmm.
I'm not going to go that far back, but the ones in recent memory, the ones that drew the most attention were, of course, Cal and the CPL. OGL, of course, is always a stalwart, though it hasn't ever been really considered as a top competitive league. And somewhere in the timeline between Cal and today's ESEA, another pay-to-play league joined in the fray, and that was CEVO, right?
Yes.
Now, CEVO has changed its model, which is why it's so popular today, and maybe this is where you take over.
Yeah, CEVO, they are growing quite big actually so far. Lots of new teams have signed up, and as you guys see, we got a bunch of invite teams from ESE have crossed over to join CEVO, and that's good news for everyone.
CEVO, actually, we have to point out, is free, which is
Oh
what I was
yes,
trying to
free to
hint at
play
before.
with with cash incentive, so even better.
All right, so I'm gonna give this to you, Clay. I'm not actually 100% convinced that this is the right Go TV, but if it is, we'll be using that in a second. CEVO went from, like you said, pay to play. Now it's free, and the important thing to know is that CEVO's size has doubled, literally doubled from 200 teams to like 500 plus, like 540 or something like that. And it's a multi-gaming league. It's very popular, backed by some noteworthy, uh, you know, parties who put their events through CEVO. I think there's a Red Bull tournament going on for StarCraft right now. The
Hmm.
Complexity 10th anniversary tournament is run through CEVO. You'll be seeing some more in the future, and you guys want to be staying in tune for that. So I saw another question here before I jump into that server, Clay. Denial is not CEVO Pro. How do you reconcile that? Well, there's an explanation, right? Isn't there?
Yeah, so far the highest league in CEVO is Main, and so that's where all the invite teams from ESA are currently residing, with everyone else who's been moved up to there in the previous 2 seasons of CEVO
The
go.
thought is that you this is the season, right? This is your springboard season. CEVO says by season 4 we expect to have a professional invite division, and
Hmm.
we don't know the name of that yet. But if you want to play in, we will invite you. You know, CEVO will invite you, and then you play into invite and show that you deserve it. It's an easy step because teams who were outside of CEVO, like Denial, are thinking, "Oh, I don't want to play in open. I don't want to play in intermediate." This is the olive branch, right?
Yes.
There are many. There are many. It's not just Denial. I've seen Denial. At one point, I saw it Momentous. I know Exertus is obviously
Exertus.
here.
Hmm. Complexity.
Complexity, Reliable, Frost. I miss Armada actually is a main team that
Top
may not
main
be,
team.
yeah, it may
Yeah.
not be as well known as the other commodities, but they put up a good showing last night. There's got to be one or two more. I thought I saw a Phoenix connection in there at some point. They renamed themselves, but of Power Players Club. There are a lot of teams switching over. A, because it's free, and B, because it's been a long, long time since we've had multiple leagues in Counter Strike. I said this a lot. I said this yesterday, and the fact that we get the choice to have 2 leagues again is very refreshing. I don't know how many times I can tell you that the pro teams have come to us or have just talked in conversation about, God, this really sucks that the Europeans have so many leagues and we have one. It just it's not enough. It doesn't satisfy our thirst for gaming.
Hmm. How's the server? Have you checked?
Yeah, it's empty at the moment, so we'll find out.
Okay. But yeah, and also, we heard the problem of NA teams saying it's hard to find teams to practice against. So I mean, this is essentially more practice for these guys having to play more matches. So that's going to be good for them as well, and get them prepped more for the Europeans.
Yeah. No, you guys have not missed it. I just saw the chat again. Denial versus Exertus is coming up just now. This is the surprise edition. We announced this at the beginning of the cast. We didn't actually anticipate that there'd be a match today, but there is surprise, and we're here to cast it because I know that nobody wants to miss this one. A lot of people agree with me, Clay. 2 leagues better than one. Choices better than no choices. And especially the fact that since ESEA is a league that has been a hegemon for so long, it's good to have someone to push each other. And I mean this in a friendly way because ESEA is a great service, and CEVO 2 is a great service. Now CEVO is a bit wider in its offering, but because they both offer CS:GO, they will both improve each other just simply by existing.
Yes, exactly. Having
We ha-
competition forces the other people to in that competition to be better. So it's going to offer a better product for everyone, most likely, and that will be good. Um, yeah.
so
Just
we had a
going
couple of
off,
topics,
huh?
right?
Yeah, I was gonna say going off on what I said about this more practice for the NA teams, and it'll probably get them into better shape to face off against the Europeans. DreamHack has actually sent out the first invites for their tournament that's coming up, and
Surprise,
yeah,
surprise. There's an
and
American representative.
so far only one, and it's Complexity, which I'm sure everyone probably would have guessed. Um, Other than that, you got Nip, Very Games, Astana Dragons, and Faculty, SK Gaming, uh, RCMS1, Tech Labs, Moscow, RCM, yeah, I already said RCMS1. And then they got some more slots that have yet to be filled, so. But yeah.
The top prize in CEVO is this season not a significant amount of cash. It's $1,000 for main, and I believe there's scaling down for IM and Open. Of course, the big bridge is the jump from main to invite, and of course there would be a bigger prize for invite going forward. That's the motivation for the teams to play here. They see $1,000 and they probably think, well, that's nice, but for the most part they shrug. But what they're playing for is the futures. They're playing for the understanding that they'll go from this position, this platform, and step up to the next platform and be eligible for greater returns on their investments. And I think that just about every one of us expects that a main division prize is not going to be the same as a invite level prize.
Exactly, exactly.
So I just checked, and that server is a no-go. The players, I believe, they didn't specify, maybe because of ping problems, because of connectivity issues. They're selecting another server, and we're gonna have that information updated in one moment.
Alrighty, sounds good. Other information going on. If you saw, Very Games has issued a statement that they are completely against Valve's version of Mirage being used in tournaments.
I saw that. I did see that. Now, I'm torn on this one. You're laughing. I know you're laughing.
I just think it's funny that they actually issued a statement saying that they're against.
Hold the presses. We
yeah.
have to say something. We hate this match.
I mean, is it really that bad? I don't think so.
So their argument, and if you read the text and get really into the granularity of it, it's more about the possibilities of what you can accomplish on the classic DE Mirage, whether that's Mirage CE, Mirage Go, compared to what you can do on the new DE Mirage issued by Valve. And they say that comparatively, they're not equals. They understand that Valve wants to update textures and they want to make things amenable for sponsors and viewers and make it up to date and fresh and product aligned, so that everything looks CS:GO and modern. That makes sense, but they feel that the sacrifice in gameplay is to the point where it's almost universally rejected and therefore unacceptable for competitive play.
Did they say what exactly was getting sacrificed in terms of gameplay? Or did they just do a blanket statement like that?
No, it was a bit of a blanket statement, but there are some things. I'm sure there are some things like the entire canopy on A being missing, and the pierceable boxes, and the mechanics of how the quads are spaced out inside of A, the way B's been restructured, the way that the B sky flashes and sky boxes over the top of the whatever that bridge thing is over the catwalk. That's a little bit different. And the flexibility of where you can throw nades out to mid, there's a lot of reasons where you'd think, well, okay, there are some bad compromises here. There are some things that I don't necessarily like giving up, going from my old Mirage to the new Mirage, and I understand that. I really do. You may have a different opinion.
I honestly don't see any problem with the new Mirage. I mean, if things change, then that's just the meta changing, and I think it's good. Change is always good in game. I mean, why not just continue playing 1.6 if that's the case,
I would agree with that statement, but only up until the point where you'd say that change is good as long as the opportunity for you to be just as creative, like there are just as many options for being creative, is equal to the previous map. And I think what Very Games is saying is that we don't mind new maps. We don't mind new maps, but the new maps have to give us the same sort of creative flexibility that the old map gave us.
Yeah.
And that part, I can't agree with them. The other part, the reason I said I'm torn to begin with, is that it does need a visual upgrade. The old Mirage looks like CSS.
Yeah, it does.
If you want your game to be publicly consumable, especially by the casual audience, and I know everybody just cringed, their buttholes just tightened a little bit. It's not about whether or not you want to play with casuals, but the people who consume esports right now are all hardcores. We need to bring in more casuals. We need to convert more players. And as the process occurs, those players, they start as casuals. So please understand that when I say casuals, I don't mean that we have to make the maps accessible for casuals. It just has to be viewable for casuals.
Yeah. Someone asked how many minutes until the match is going to start. It should be starting very soon. I just checked the Go server and it is working. It's on Dust 2, but there's no one in it at the moment, so Just got to wait for the teams to join, and I would assume that they are doing that now.
Yeah. We are, of course, on a delay in the GoTV, so they could very well be in the server. We'll find out in approximately a minute and a half. How many minutes until the denial match? We're going to give you a rough estimate of a time window between a minute and a half to about 5 minutes. Stick with us, don't worry. Yes, Hawkeye's 510. According to Summit Stream, they just found a server. We are in the admin panel. We can see them now connected to the server. Give us one moment.
Yes.
So the entire chat was like, "Oh, Valve Mirage, oh." Guys, yes, there are some drawbacks. Yes, the old Mirage gameplay is better, but if we can merge the two, if we can give a visual update to the old Mirage and still maintain the integrity of the gameplay, I think that would be a happy medium for everybody.
I definitely agree. I am in the server since we got people connecting now.
Okay, Clay. Exertus, new big shots, right?
Yeah, they are. Coming out strong with the win over Complexity, and like I said, I think this this game here is going to show whether or not they're the real deal. If they could take out formerly Denial / Curse, they'll be showing that they're the new big fish in the pond, probably.
Well, I know the team formerly known as Denial has something to say about that.
The
They've
team
had some
formerly knows it. That's just funny.
What? I know what I'm supposed to call them, and I know what I'm supposed to not call them.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to stop myself from just blurting out what I think they should be called.
Yeah, we don't like to say announcement soon, so we just keep calling them Denial for now. It's
Yeah, we're
easier.
very aware that they're called announcements soon. We're also aware that they've changed their name due to a new sponsorship. We just we cannot say announcement soon. Clay vouched that we should go with Curse, but I honestly think that would be falsely representative of who they are.
Yeah.
Exertus says 110 ping on non-ESEA feels better than 80 ping on ESEA. Well, as much as we love ESEA, and ESEA is of course the big fish in the pond, their servers need some upkeep. I love ESEA, I love their staff, and I love playing on their client. Can somebody fix their GoTVs?
Yeah, that's a big problem with the ESC Go TVs, and I mean, that's the only issue I have in terms of casting their matches. I, for one, am interested to see how Summit's going to perform. Haven't really seen him play CS too much. I mean, I know he's a streamer and he's popular, mainly with Daisy, and then he started playing CS like a month or two ago, I think, is when I started seeing him on CS. So, yeah, I was a little surprised when I saw he was on Exertus, and I was like, okay. So I'm interested to see how he's going to perform.
It is Exertus versus Denial. Let's go through the rosters real quick, Clay. For the team formerly known as Denial, it will be Anger, AZK, Dazed, Skadoodle, Adren. By the way, Dazed, that superstar recent pickup for this roster, could actually turn out to be a great thing for the entire season. He had a very average first game when we saw him on CEVO, and the person who really turned it on in the first week and first game of the CEVO season was Skadoodle. We'll get back to that in a second. For Exertus, Illuminator, Floam, Summit, Bouncer, Oct. Now there's been some turnover, and you would see that some names have been swapped out here. A noteworthy one that's not with us right now, Pinecone.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the ones that I would call as a standout, who make a substantial contribution in a game, but he's not here, and that could damage them. We'll never know. Perhaps this is the lineup that defeated Complexity. We'll find out in just a second. So Clay, I was just talking about this. Skadoodle. Holy cow, dude.
Oh, he had one hell of a game yesterday. He was just beasting it with the op on Terrace side. He was getting so many picks through the middle door, and it was just ridiculous. Shots through smoke, he was doing everything.
You guys absolutely want to check out our social pages, including our YouTube channel, which has that match uploaded. Go there, subscribe if you'd like. Is that the term for YouTube? Subscribe?
Yeah. From what I saw, what's uploaded right now is kind of janky. It's in like 15-minute increments, and that will have to be fixed. Yeah. So, no big deal.
In following uploads, we'll have them in full match detail.
Yeah.
Players look like they've accepted all invites. Paladins look clear. We have everyone ready to go. I think we'll be getting going in just a second here. Clay, I need your prediction. Oh, actually,
prediction.
Yeah. Never mind. I thought we had a fire drill for a second. No, go ahead. Your prediction, please.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen Exertus since we saw him back on any revival, I believe. And so it seems like they've improved greatly since they took down Complexity, but I think I'm going to still stick with the team formerly known as Denial. I think it's going to be a close one, though. I'm going to go with 16-12.
16-12. We like that. You know, it's going to be a close one. I'd like it to be even closer. I want it to be 16-14, and I'm going to call it that way. I'm going to call it 16-14, and I will also call it for Denial. Any disagreements there? Last chance.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, we'll be going live in just a second here. I'm hoping that we see some op looks tonight. I want to see some Bluminator op versus some Skadoodle op.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Oh, I'm absolutely certain we will. I want to see how Summit does. Honestly, I haven't seen him play that often. I see his channel, and because of our working commitments, we just can't find the time to sit back and, you know, evaluate an hour of gameplay from Summit. So this might be maybe the second time that I've seen him play a match, and I haven't formed an opinion on him just yet. Yeah,
this will be the first time I've seen him actually playing a match. I've seen him do, you know, pugging and matchmaking and stuff, but I don't know. Not enough to form an opinion about him, like you said.
Alrighty. Dazed asking.
Yep.
Any surprise candidates for MVPs?
Man, I would say Dazed is gonna be good. It's so hard to say. Dazed, Anger, Skadoodle, they're all freaking good, man.
I like it. Yep. I like all of them to be
Bouncer, Bluminator, Flom, you know.
So did you just pick everybody in the game to be an MVP?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to see who's going to stand out. I think last game yesterday it was Skadoodle standing out for MVP just because he was being a complete monster with the op. And, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that again since we're on Dust 2, a map that is where the op is very strong. And so I'll go with Skadoodle. But then I see Anger and I'm like, oh, he's a beast with his M4 and his AK. You know, I don't know.
Okay, here we go. It is Denial versus Exertus, week 1-2, Dust 2, and the matchup that we've been waiting for this evening. For us, I'm Cotton. This is my partner, Klops. We are on CEVO TV. Give us a follow, by the way. This channel is just starting up. We have a huge season ahead of us, and these two teams are fighting an early bout that probably shouldn't have happened because, remember, Clay, this is an ELO-based system, so they have to, not a literal ELO, but they have a ranking system where they participate, and as they win, their schedules get harder, but this is probably where the buck stops for them in terms of difficulty and possible difficulty in the beginning of the season.
Well, I mean, it should continue for whoever wins because they will continue playing the other undefeated teams as we see Bluminator get us a nice headshot through the double doors, and that's starting the game off nicely.
3 terrorists alive, and actually 4, but 3 terrorists alive in the B tunnels. AZK, Daze, and Adren setting up here, including the bomb. You got to know that they're going to commit here. We got one hiding in the questionably... I'm not going to go with sexual preferences. Spot Oct sitting there, number 5 on the platform, will hold off the initial push there. They don't want to challenge him because that shot's really hard to hit, and they've smartly pulled it away. But as they rotate away, Bouncer and Bluminator have followed them to the double doors, so they're just mirroring them, making them commit to the rotate. Now they get a kill here, and smartly, they have a minute left play. They're not really choosing the site yet. They're waiting and pushing people back and forth.
Yep, so
2 down.
There you go.
Anger and Dazed go down. Bluminator actually get a chance to make his case. I actually couldn't get his name out before he went down. Ox is the only one there. Gets a shot off, shoots Adren in the foot, and somehow manages to get away with a kill there. You're not going to get too many shots off on people's feet against a team like Denial and hope to win that one. First one goes to them. Clay, you've got some analysis for me. It's a pistol round for T-side. It's a T-sided map. How much do we read into that?
I mean, T-sided map, you know, there wasn't anything too fancy going on with that pistol round, I thought. I mean, Bluminator had the nice kill early in through double doors, but Denial, excuse me, I was going to say Curse, but yeah, team formerly known as Denial, they were able to adapt, you know, go into B, try to work some picks and get the rotates heading towards B, and then they, you know, rotated back out towards Cat, got 3 men in that middle, got a good firing position and took 1 out, and then they were just able to steamroll Cat. The 2 guys defending Cat, I believe it was Summit and Flom, didn't do a too good of a job of hitting their shots, and we see Daze is actually doing good entry there into B and picks up the last one. That's a Dren actually. AZK getting one as well over in mid, and that's going to clear B site for these guys for an easy take.
It is, of course, the eco round. Summit and Flome, the last two left. They're going to come through mid, and they're pretty much already committed, consigned to the pursuit of free guns or exit kills. Now, if we can just, you know, underplay this eco round here and start talking a little bit about what was happening in that. Ooh, never mind. Flome lands a nice double. He absolutely drills Skadoodle, who is sad. I don't know if he lost an AK there, but hopefully if he did, someone can pick that up. Clay, the one thing that I wanted to point out on that pistol round is that Exertus played it perfectly. You know, they knew exactly what Denial was trying to do, and they shadowed them across the map. They moved into the B tunnels, they rotated people inside of B. They moved out of B tunnels, they shadowed them and moved back to mid. The difference was the encounter at the top of Catwalk. They had people waiting for them at the top of the cat. They had the height advantage, and somehow it was just a matter of overpowering aiming that Denial just came out with just a full-on charge and won purely by gunpower.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it was Flom and is it Flom? Is it Flom? I'm not sure I'm saying that.
I'll go with Flome.
Looks like Flom to me. But either way, it was Flom and Summit defending on Cat, and they just essentially didn't make their shots. We see the push is going into B. It's an eco round. Daze is there to looking at one, picks up one. Adren gets another. Two go down to Adren, and that's Daze getting a trying to finish out the last one here. It's Oct, and he goes down to Daze's pistol, and that's a good job by those two guys taking out the whole team right there themselves.
That awkward moment where you are almost certain that I should have a triple, but it's just taking a little too long to finish, and then we call it 3-0. Gun rounds are on. We're on to the gun rounds, I should say. Take a look at your tab screen here. That buy commitment will drop Exertus to next to nothing, and they've got to win this round, especially with a team like Denial that can really snowball rounds on T side. For DE Dust 2, take a look at your overhead here. 3-2 split. It's going to be a mid control. You can guess that they're going to circle down to lower B and probably set up mid control here. Two pushing from long. That's Flom and Summit. They're going to be pushing all the way to the door, but no, wow. Skadoodle catches Bluminator looking. I was going to say they're pushing through the door. He got a piercing headshot on the Bluminator, and that's what, the 5th in 2 days?
Yeah, it was a little bit of an op-duel going back and forth. Skadoodle missed about 3 different shots right there, and then look at this. The nade and the shot through the smoke takes down Bouncer, and that's going to just make this round that much harder for Exertus.
I don't know if that was a called shot, but Skadoodle puts that shot in, legs the player. I think he probably communicates that to his teammate. They throw 2 nades, and they know they have a sure kill there. That level of communication is at the invite level, appropriate for a team ranked as highly as one like Denial. 4 left for the terrorists here after, 5 left for the terrorists here. They've got 1 lurking in the B tunnels. That's Adren, who's been on the lurk since yesterday. He has,
Yes,
he has his position in B, and he's played that religiously here. Here comes the split. They've sealed off CT spawn. They're isolating Oct, who cannot get the kill, and they've got all 5 alive. 5 versus 2, and you don't like these odds if you're the counter-terrorist here, even if you got one. Oh, my lord. What? I'm going to keep a tally. That's like 7 in 2 days. Some through smoke, some through wood, some through, like, concrete walls. They're just utterly absurd at times. 1 left, and that's Summit. He has his own streaming POV, and I'm wondering if he's saying anything to himself right now, like, please don't find me, please don't find me, please don't find me. Adren and Summit go head-to-head. Adren cleans it up. It's a perfect 4-0 thus far for Denial.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there from Bluminator. I think he kind of got a little cocky and kept peeking the doorway, because I was on Skadoodle's perspective that whole time. I wanted to see the op battle in mid, and he just kept peeking, and Skadoodle had, I mean, it was obvious that Skadoodle was there. He kept taking shots through the door, and he was able to catch him, and that was a big dent into Exertus's play right there.
It's just, I know it's a confidence thing. You're Bluminator. You think, well, I'm not scared of him. I'm going to take the shot. I'm going to make the big play. But you cannot test a player like Skadoodle that many times. Look, a 2-man charge out to mid. Summit leaves his teammate to die after seeing Flum turn the corner and just get mowed down. So this round already looking like it's going to be a Denial round. Of course, it was an eco, considering the context of the last round. Summit, the last one alive. Current theme here is throw nades where you can't see players and blow them up. Summit eats 1. 5-0, still perfect on the slate, and the scorecard looks really, really good for just about everyone on Denial. Clay, 10-0, 7-2, 4-2, 2-2, 2-0.
Yeah, they're doing great. Day's doing very well, 10-0. Wow. And this should be. I thought it was going to be a save round for Exertus, but they saved. Didn't have to save again, and they actually bought out. So we should be seeing an op battle in mid. No, Skadoodle's actually going to rush towards long and try to get this quick pick. Let's see if he could get it.
He sets up. No one's actually down there though.
Yeah, defensive smoke and flash from the CTs, so that's going to be uneventful for him. Our number 8-man AZK, he might be able to pick someone up here on Cat, as we see the CTs are actually 2-man stacking it. That's going to be Floam and Summit. Some spray
Shots fired through the door. Bluminator nails Adren, finally making good on his opping. Actually, Adren stood there for probably a far too long, active, making a little bit of noise there. So Bluminator had an easy one there. It was an initial 2-1-2 split out of their spawn. They swapped it out to a default or a base look for a mid-control sort of play. Dazed, AZK, and Anger still maintaining that. Skadoodle picks up the bomb to join them. They're going to have to commit to a site here. And that smoke play, I think, was friendly, was it not?
I believe so. Good defense here by Summit on the catwalk, taking down 2, going for a 3rd. Getting the big headshot onto Skadoodle almost, and he can't finish it off, and he actually escapes with just enough health to keep alive. And Bouncer trying to do some exchange. Does pick up Skadoodle, and that's going to leave Dazed as the last man alive.
So Dazed actually did a smart play there. He was standing at the back, watching his teammate spray over the top of Xbox onto Cat. He knew that, given the context of what he was doing, his teammate could easily get shot through the smoke, through the mid-double doors, so he sprayed back through the mid-double doors to scare anybody out with tracers, and that's the sort of communication, that's the sort of hours and hours of gameplay needed to get your game to a peak condition where you can do things probably without communication. That was big on his part. Still,
smart play, but didn't quite
exactly.
pay out, unfortunately.
Bigger still for Exertus, who put up their first one. We have a T picker and a CT counter pick. One heading toward the palm tree. Oct holding on the platform inside of B. Will throw a nade to dissuade anyone from approaching him, but still no action thus far, not until the first spray at long DDs, which finally tags Oct and brings him down to about 40. Mid-control seems like the order of the day. Daze turns the corner, almost didn't convert the spray, and Bouncer almost got a second shot off there, but he does. 1 down for the counter-terrorist, 9 left on the field, and that mid-player Bouncer is down. Now, Bluminator is the op, remember, so he isn't necessarily gone, and he is actually behind the initial pushing 3-2 split force, and if he can get through there, through those flashes, and they get a hold like this, they'll have a chance. 3-3, 3-on-3 retake, flashes over will make it difficult for anyone to charge them while they get the bomb down. Smart play here, waiting for this bomb to plant. Anger throws a nade, hits no one on the outside. We got someone on the far flank. It's going to be a tandem retake just like we like it. AZK ambushes Flum and Bluminator. That one ends in a hail of gunfire and blood. There's literally, it was a flawless hold there. Everybody in an unconventional spot. I don't know if anybody got a shot off.
No, yeah, everything about that hold was great by Denial. I mean, even when they entered the site and the 2 members were just coming out of B tunnels with the bomb, the great coordination by them. They sync their flashes and smokes over the wall and, into the, there was no smoke actually, just sync their flashes over the wall, and it allowed them to cross without being picked by the 2 guys that were in mid, and they were able to get in the site, plant, and then do that great hold that we just saw. And once again, it's a double op look, by the way.
It is, when we like double op looks, especially for CT side here. That's a bold look, considering that the spaces that you're compressed into on CT side are a little bit shorter than those that you work with on T side here. Aggressive push gets Adren looking. He actually saw his player come up to engage him and still beat him to the punch. Big play there by Summit, and I actually give him a lot of credit there because I didn't think Summit would be playing as well as he is. He, of course, isn't positive, but he is the leading score contributor for Exertus at the moment. High-low look on top of the Cat. Love that look. Back from 1.6. Summit on top of Flum on top of the staircase, and a 2-man crossfire, I believe. Yeah, Oct and Bluminator holding out to mid. It's a pretty amorphous look, leaning toward A now. They want this catwalk to get two directions going at the same time. He'll go to our number 9-man Clay. This is Daze. He charges, sees the man in the corner, and gets ambushed. It's a 1-1 trade. AZK cleans up nicely with 2 very succinct headshots. One of the elevators, Bluminator, he's pretty much stuck. He got really, really badly pinned. AZK reloads at the wrong time, stuck in his corner, gets taken out. 2-2. Bouncer and Oct versus Skadoodle and Anger. Clay, this is a really, really far split, but we like this one. Look at the 7 and 6 man. Skadoodle and Anger on opposite sides of the map almost.
Yeah, they are, and we see Inger's going to be playing that goose position, so once he gets it going, they're going to have somewhat of a crossfire. Bouncer goes down, trying to get that close-up op shot, but Inger just finishing it off strong and picking up another round for formerly Denial.
Anger is not someone to be trifled with, especially with an AK there, and he made it. He got the first one on a headshot, even though he fired 2 bullets. Second one was a nice 2-tap, also a headshot there. That's just pure speed, and if you don't anticipate somebody waiting there for you, you don't try to make that work in your favor with a flash or something like that, he's going to beat you to the punch.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because they knew he was there. Oct actually peeked and saw him and exchanged a bit of fire with him, so they knew he was there, and they just kind of played it a little incorrectly. We see it is going to be another save round for Exertus, and we see Denial is actually favoring B this round, the B tunnels here.
We have a large push. Pull up the overhead map. The 1, 4, and 3-man summit. Flum and Bluminator are on the hunt. They know everybody's heading toward B, but they can't stop them anyway because it's an eco round. Adren lands a nade and an entry. Oct goes down. B's clear and open for business. We got AZK on the far lurk. Here's his kill. There it is. He's going to get a second one if he can clean that up. And after the 4th, I believe, Flum goes down and it's left to Bluminator. The number 3 man is waiting for exits in probably what is too obvious of a spot.
Yep. Someone asked who is shoutcasting this match. It is Klops and Cotton from Fixation TV. We are now CEVO TV, and we are doing this match for you guys. So if you can, please give us a follow as we have moved and we got to build up the audience back over here once again. So.
Man, I thought you were gonna say like for charity or something. I got all excited. Like, we were doing this for something? That's cool. Pull up your overhead here. Actually, go back. Look at the tab screen here. It's hurting for Exertus. You know, this is the buy save slide, and that 1 round, even though they needed the 1 round, is hurting them because they can't build up the cash they want. They're not getting the kills they need, and the kills also supplement your cash. It's highly underrated how much cash kills give you these days. So. Now we'll get to our overhead here. No mid control yet. It's an off look. They're thinking Exertus is going to try something a little bit shifty here. This is what happens when you have everybody back. You think, okay, you're going to get an aggressive look from Exertus. They might push you. They might come out cat firing. They might come out of long, so I'm going to smoke that. I'm going to hold at the back of B tunnel somewhere. They're going to try something extreme because they're getting desperate. But they haven't, and Exertus, I have to compliment them here. They're holding in their passive sort of disciplined look, despite the fact that they might be baited into trying something desperate right now.
Yeah, we saw a flash. I thought it was going to come with a peek followed by Oct, but he didn't go for it. There's the peek. Gets 1, but AZK takes out 2, and that's going to give up B2 Denial once again.
Here comes that push that we were looking for. Go to our number 6 man, Skadooda. He's about to get flanked by Summit. He doesn't get that shot off, and it's getting sprayed down. Can he get the 1? No, he cannot. Summit cleans him up. Will pick up an op, I think, for his teammate. He will not. He'll run through, gets his paces on, puts on his Nikes, runs through, and gets to the... Ooh. Ugh. Hurdles the wall. Adren puts a shot right in him as he comes over the top of that wall and is sad. Bluminator is the only one left. He is in lower B tunnels looking for the exits. Now we've got... an ugly situation for Bluminator that he's been in before, and if he can just be a little bit, psychic there, he'll find Adren who's trying to escape. He'll get 2. Hey, that's a good job. You know, you're in a no-win situation. You've got to find exits. Getting a 2-1 for yourself, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Forcing the T's to have to rebuy, good job right there, and you're saving the gun for yourself. So, I mean, it is 9-1, so it's still not looking good, and they're probably going to have to save here, despite Bluminator having the gun. And then looking at Curse, they are still looking... Did I say Curse? Denial.
Yes.
Formerly Denial. They're still looking very good in terms of money. Everyone on their team is above 6K, so, I mean, they're styling still as well. Which you would expect with a 9-1 lead. Actually...
Did you say they're styling?
Yeah.
All right. I'm not new and hip like you these days, but
sorry,
I'll learn. Anger gets the first one.
Too.
Let's get back onto it. Anger gets the first one. It is an eco round, partial eco round, because Bluminator saved his weapon here. I like this 5-7 from Bouncer. If you'll go to him for real quick. Number 2, cleared catwalk for Dazed. AZK and Dazed working very slowly, despite the fact that there is no one up there. There's just 1 defender coming out of long right there, about to get ambushed. It's sort of a sloppy eco round here. Not a single point of damage issued and given to Denial yet. We'll hope that somebody gets a kill there. Oct makes my initial statement now defunct. He's got 1 to fight at the elevator position. Can't get that kill. It's only Bluminator. There seems to be a recurring theme about Bluminator and exit kills. Picks up an AK for himself. He'll try to clutch, I guess. you know, if you win out, and that's a big if, 10-5 not so bad, but if you don't and you let this slide, this is gonna get ugly.
Yeah, it won't be looking good if they don't win out the rest of the rounds here. I was gonna say that 10-1 it wouldn't necessarily mean that the other team with 10 could be too far ahead. We've seen games where it goes like that, but then the money is still super tight because the kills are just being exchanged back and forth throughout the rounds. But not the case so far in this match. Curse, formerly Denial, doing it again. They are playing exceptional, and they're really not losing that many people on these rounds when they do drop some members. Adren getting a nice shot there into B, and that's going to open up the map quite a bit for these guys.
That's a silly challenge there. Oct looked like he got a bit desperate, peeked the doorway when he didn't have to, ran right into an op scope there and gave Adren an easy kill that he really didn't have to work for. It's the sorts of mistakes that you make that sort of compile and build up and add up to something that can really cripple your team like that is throwing Exertus off. Obviously, they are in the conversation when it comes to gunplay, reaction times, speed, coordination, but when they get a little bit flustered, or when they're getting flustered like they are right now, it begins to fall apart for them. And we know what their potential is. Their potential is being better than Complexity on some days. And unfortunately, today looks more like a trough than a high point.
Yeah, unfortunately, Skadoodle trying to get that op pick in mid.
He legged Oct, by the way.
Oh, wow.
He is on fire with this op, and he's staying still. He knows that somebody else might be crossing in the near future. Adren gets another entrance. This is a common theme here. Oct is getting picked by Adren. He's pretty much losing his one-on-one battle consistently now. AZK turns the corner, has somebody in the closet, had a hard time tracking him down after fighting off that ADAD, but does anyway. Skadoodle fighting by himself at mid has won a sort of an impromptu high-low fighting him, and he'll get picked out because of the fact that he had somebody in his face. 3-3. This is the best look the counter-terrorists have had thus far in this, in this half, except for the round that they won. But Anger does what Anger does. He cuts out everybody, taking on the lurk role after Adren went down. And we talked about this yesterday, Clay. When Adren goes down, there is no hiccup.
New lurk, yeah.
There is no hiccup. They immediately assign a new lurk. That's another sign of experience and coordination that some teams just don't have.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have been playing together a long time, so they know, like you said, like clockwork, they know what to do as soon as someone who's in a role goes down and how to fill it and how to adjust to, keep the advantage going for themselves, or, turn the strat into something else so they could get it going and still have a good chance of coming out with the round.
Somebody said, wish the ESEA... Our friends over at ESEA are very good casters, and what they do is very difficult to do day in and day out. But thank you very much, and if you do enjoy what we do, please follow the channel, because you know what? This is going to be an official channel. This league is going to grow exponentially, and it's going to cover a lot of games. So you'll want to tune in for some of the big things that we have coming up, including, potentially, the Complexity 10th Anniversary Tournament. We'll talk about that one later. For now, we'll talk about what the strat is. Looks like a wide 2-2-1 split that will probably come back to a mid-control, and an Anger saying hello to Flom there. He goes down. Summit has to rotate all the way down to long and hold up the car position to ward off a pusher here. Anger, of course, not afraid. Here comes the encounter. Summit catches him with a nade and gets the kill. That's a very, very fortunate situation for him, and a good contextual play there, knowing that if he threw the nade, then he's probably still drawing his weapon. That animation will get him every time.
It was a good play by Summit because he went into the car cubby area, and then after Anger kind of peeked back out, he actually came out and went to the right side, and Anger thought he was still over at the car, so it completely threw him off.
Two-man firing squad going against Daze. Daze doesn't care. He might even actually chase the man who fell down. That's Bluminator, who's sitting at 13 health here. Adren sitting at mid. Now, an op lurk is really, really disheartening. Not only are you fighting off an automatic, but if you don't find the lurk, he shoots you first. There's only one shot before you're dead.
Yep. As we see, Oct is about to meet Adren once again. So he knew he was there, but just couldn't do anything about it. Adren doing very well with that op. And I also noticed last round that Exertus finally started getting the smokes down mid. I think they're getting tired of being terrorized by Skadoodle in mid. And smokes are expensive, but they're starting to finally get them down.
Clay,
and
watch
look at
this. Watch the double doors this round.
Oh,
auto op. My God. Oh no.
No one's dying yet. Bluminator tried to get that counter pick.
You know, considering the actual amount of bullets flying down range right there, I'm genuinely surprised nobody died. Bluminator gets a pick on Adren,
Gets
and
two.
a second one on Skadoodle. That one will turn the round. Surely it will turn the round in their favor, lest somebody does something absolutely ridiculous here. And AZK and Anger have all the license to do ridiculous things, but Exertus will at least put up 2, we think, before the round is out.
It
Or
looks
the
to be that way.
Say.
Anger trying to do work. He's going to try to go for the clutch here. And like you said, he has the resume to do so. Picking up one right there.
Lord.
Can he get Summit? He doesn't get Summit, but AZK is still alive. He has that auto sniper, but gets one, and that's going to leave the 3 members of the CTs trying to rotate. Gets a shot through the smoke. Not even sure how he did that, but he's looking to Cat. He knows he's coming, and number 3 man Bluminator is moving through long, so that is smart, not coming from different firing windows, and he might get opt here.
All right, so AZK fires another one. He's got. Oh no! I got all ready to do the clutch talk. I got all ready to get super excited, and Bluminator just puts a damper on that one. But what we will get excited for, Clay, is the fact that finally, oh, we have a teabag. we just had a teabag.
There's no.
What we will get excited
for.
for.
You don't know what he was doing, okay?
He knows that was just live and people just saw that, but what we will get excited for is the fact that Exertus put up 2. They will have a chance, the slimmest of chances, to pull this off, and if they do pull it off, then we'll get just absolutely hyphy when the comeback is on.
Yep, first round 13-2. Denial looking very strong still. Let's take a look at the score. 19-7, AZK being the carry of this game. Dazed not far behind with 14. Adren with 17. He's been doing a lot of work with that op, especially over at B. He was getting like 1 or 2 picks around with it.
Yes, he was. Here we go, the second half of the Week 1 Map 2 game for CEVO Season 3 Main Division. It is Exertus versus the team formerly known as Denial, and it's a 5-man B-rush. Not what you typically would call up for this one. It's a 2-2 trade, and for all intents and purposes, it's sort of a win for the Terrorists here, because once they're in the defensive position, they have the advantage. They do need to get the bomb down, however, and 3 counter-terrorists, Daze, Skadoodle, and AZK are charged with the retake. Exertus's Flum will be holding the staircase, has 1, can get a second one if he can land that last shot. He does, and it looks like this will be a win for Exertus, and this is the start you want, right, Clay?
It certainly is. Once you get that pistol round, you get at least 2 more potentially. I mean, we do see a lot of teams doing a buy on the 3rd round, but on Dust 2, you know, teams do favor their ops, so they usually save for the full 3. And I think we'll be able to expect that going in here on the second half, especially with such a big lead that Curse has right now. That's a god, man.
Oct saying, as long as I have more frags than Skadoodle, everything's okay, I still win. Then Skadoodle replies, try assists. Anyway, it's a 5-man rush again. It's going to go toward long. They run into a stack here, and they smartly turn away, and they've actually just surrendered. No, they haven't. That was a TK. I was about to say they've surrendered 2 weapons. Thankfully, they did not. There's a free AK. Someone will surely pick it up. There it is. And Daze is now on the back heel. He needs to retreat. He realizes that he probably played his cards a little bit too loosely, stood out there at long, and got mowed down. This round leaves Anger and Adren left for the clutch, and I doubt it will happen, considering that Adren was about to go... Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. Never count out Denial, Anger, and Adren, though weak, have made the case that they want to try to pull this off. Adren has his P250 and is going to come up from the CT spawn position. Here's the Sky Flash. Actually gets bombarded, had Bouncer waiting for him, and absolutely guillotined him with that kill 2 rounds in. But Clay, this is what I don't like. I don't like rebuying.
Yeah, rebuying is always bad, and that's good for formerly Denial right there, picking out 3 people. So that's going to force them to rebuy, like you said, and it's going to hurt their money quite a bit as we see Bouncer picking up P90, and then Bluminator and Summit actually saving with not buying any guns, just pistols and grenades. Oh, Summit actually bought an AK. It's going to be Bluminator saving. He wants that off for the next round.
Exertus is all about the pain train, and they are just roaming together, trying to mow down everyone. Adren holding in mid is going to call out and hears most certainly that people are above him at Catwalk. Everybody's prepared. Now it's Dazed and Adren holding on to bomb site A. Nobody is successful thus far. The Pro 90 goes to work, exactly. Adren finally gets a headshot, and 2, a second one. That was the bomb planter flown. He's hiding in the smoke, and nobody knows where he is. The bomb is in his hands, and he's got an AK. He's got one at the top at the goose position, and one probably to his left. It's on the top of Catwalk. If he can just get 1 kill, just 1 kill. Oh, no.
If he only went up the ramp just a little bit, he would have been safe from Bluminator. But, you know, he didn't know that Bluminator was coming around on Cat. But, I mean, Adren went total beast mode right there and just forced everyone to have to rebuy once again. So their money, T-side, is still not looking too hot since they've had to rebuy 2 rounds in a row now.
I'm devastated, Clay. I wanted that ace so bad. Even though I'm rooting for the underdog for this match to go longer, I just wanted that ace. It would have been so nice. 2-3 split, a long stack, and Daze comes back to the safe position. He's at the cross, supporting the people at long. It's a 2-2 look and a spawn player for Exertus. This will be another mid control here. A smoke in their faces from Exertus allows them to approach the door, force the issue at Cat, and try to isolate someone who's pushed up onto Catwalk. Clay, we know that nobody's there, but it's a smart play, and they are sort of mimicking the offense that Denial likes to field here. They've come out, set up a crossfire. Adren's the first one to go down in the window. Here's the crossfire. Skadoodle answers, brings down Summit. Dazed adds on. Flum goes down. It's a 3 versus 4 for Exertus. I kind of saw this coming, and I think you did too. As soon as the gun rounds came around, Denial sort of turned it back on.
Yeah, I mean, the bomb is planted in B, though, and they got 3 members stationed in there, so it's going to be tough for Denial to retake here, especially when they're all coming from mid.
Hopefully, this smoke will isolate the platform guy and the tunnel guy. It does. Bluminator is actually in the tunnel, opting from that position, but it protects the person defusing. Very smart there to bounce a smoke, land it right in the middle, and make it impossible for someone to see the planting position. Now, I got to tell you, that smoke, people do it to protect themselves, but good operators know where that bomb plant spot is. That smoke.
Well, it also protected the 2 guys entering from the window, so from the offer in the tunnel. So it was actually really, really good smoke.
Yeah, that's one you can definitely learn from. I hope that you guys will remember that one if you don't already use it, and I'm sure that one's going to be explained in one of Adren's useful how-to videos in the future here. 14-5. And we're on to the tie point. Denial is only 2 away. They're also sending a long push here. This is a new thing for them. They didn't always do this. They've sent 3 down here, and they're going to retract those players once they feel that they've secured it. But that smoke will scare them off just enough that they will give up and make a passive look. Their hold. Skadoodle nails 1. Here's a second one for Daze. He cannot land it and gives up his position. I like the fact that they realize that this smoke compromises us. This smoke really compromises us, and we don't have to force the issue.
We got scouts going on here in the pit. Summit picks up his buddy's down scout, and he's trying to do some work here, but they aren't having any of it. They're going to go back to the pit, not pit, CT spawn, and just play it safe here. As Bouncer and Summit are the last 2 alive. And it's not looking too hot.
Summit, the last one left with the best weapon possible. He's going to turn the corner and find Skadoodle at the elevator position. He needs a headshot, otherwise it's all over. Skadoodle shoots him in the elbow, and Summit's body does a little hurricane roundabout before he flops down. 15-5, match point, Denial. I think you called the game, Clay. I called it 16-14. I was really, really wrong.
Yeah, I was really wrong with 16-12 as well. But this is going to be a save round pretty much for Exertus. I mean, of course they're going to buy out here, but it's only going to be pistols and armor, a few grenades for these guys. But other than that, that's going to be it, and I don't think that's going to be enough to take out Denial here.
Nope. Take a look at your tab screen while we set up this play here. 22-11, 25-13, 14-8. Like, Denial showed up to play, and it was AZK who made the late push to make the case that he might be the MVP for this game. We'll get to that in a second. Exertus is set up. They have an aggressive look. They are already out toward the mid window, or the mid double doors, to force Adren backwards. So the map is split in 2. It doesn't really matter that Denial's split up. They'll be armies of 1 in and of themselves. Daze strings. Oh, never mind. Bluminator lands a headshot. Skadoodle defending the site still looking pretty good here. Bluminator, the last one left before this one is all over. Sprays down, gets pinched between 2. Denial takes week 1, map 2. CEVO-Main has great teams, and we like these matches, Clay. These have been real fun. Tune in here, follow here, because this channel is your destination for all CEVO games this season and all CEVO events coming up this season. That was a lot of fun, despite the lopsidedness.
Yeah, that was a good match. I mean, well, it could have been better. I was expecting a little bit more from Exertus since they had that one over complexity, but if they keep practicing, they'll get there. I mean, and if they take out complexity, then it's obvious they got something going on. So
that's very true. That's very true. Guys, I'd like to point out that we have a couple of more matches. Think about this. On tomorrow, I believe tomorrow and Thursday, we have a couple of noteworthy matches that I'd like to point out for you guys that you may be interested in. Are you ready for this, Clay?
Yes.
Let's try, how about week 1, 2? Go Berserk Pug Kings. Everyone yawns. They don't know who they are. That's a good one for me.
Go
Afterlife.
Berserk is good. Pug
Yes.
Kings, they are reformed, so I'm not really familiar with their roster, but Go Berserk, they got some good shots on their team, especially in Mahone. That guy's a beast. Definitely invite level caliber, I think.
Maybe in and of himself.
Yeah.
Then
But
we have Afterlife versus Reliable. Season 2 champions versus Reliable Gaming. That should be very fun. And Complexity plays on Thursday as well. I think they play We Walk in Pubs. That may be a little bit lopsided, but people will still come to watch
yeah.
the Complexity squad here. We've got a bunch of them coming up, and I hope you guys will be back to join us. I think that's it for us tonight, right?
That is it for us. We are Cotton and Clops. We are from Fixation
tonight,
TV.
right?
That is
Team
it Fixation, if you guys remember.
and Clops.
Had a little echo there on the stream real quick. But yeah, so this is our new home. We are CEVO TV now, so please follow us here on the new channel. So far looking good, 105 followers in 2 days. Not too bad. So that's it for us. Follow us on our social media. Check it out. It's down on the Twitch page below. And other than that, you can check out the VODs on Twitch of the matches we casted yesterday and today if you missed this one. Other than that, that's it for us. Thanks again for watching. You guys have been watching Fixation TV. For Clops and Cotton, have a good night.